this. In fact, this would be a pretty premium setup for amputations back then. Amputations means cutting off an arm or a leg to save the soldier's life. And the reason you do that is because when the soldiers are brought back to my area here, which would be much larger, there's probably a big tent for the surgeon's tent, I would ask and see what's wrong with that soldier. And if the assistant said he's got a musket ball to the arm that broke his bone, all right, so we'd lay him on a big table with a surgical table, and I would just have to feel that bone. And if it felt by touch, if it felt like it was just a clean break, then I could set it, remove the musket ball first, then set the bones with a splint, and in a few weeks he'll be good as new. But again, if infection didn't set in, because remember, my hands aren't sterilized, and the instruments aren't sterilized, so, but he might be just fine as long as we could set those two bones together. What happened if that musket ball, which was very large, and we'll show you one, a musket ball weighed about an ounce. That was like a large marble. This is what was fired out of those muskets, and in fact, my friend Scott over here has a couple of muskets he'll show you, too. One's an original Brown Bess musket. But you can get an idea of how, this is lead, and you get an idea of how this would impact the body when I drop it. And you hear that? When that's flying through the air, it's going to open your skin, shatter your bones, damage internal organs if you got what we call a gut shot, which was most times fatal for a gut shot. And here, this soft tissue area here. But if it's an amputation, then what we're going to do is, first of all, and we have to do the amputation. We're going to remove the musket ball and take this, which is called a probe. We'll insert that up into the hole until we touch the musket ball. Then I will mark with my thumb and forefinger about how far it is up into that where the probe stops. And I hear a little tap up in the hole. That means I found the musket ball. Then I'll take the bullet forceps, and these are original ones. These are before the Revolutionary War, made out of bronze. These are original ones, original forceps for removing bullets. These would date to about 1730, 1740, somewhere around there. Handmade. But you insert this in the hole, open this in the hole, into the tissue, and retrieve the musket ball, bring it out, which now was not nice and round. It looked more like this. It was misshapen, like so. It was something like this, but you get this out, and that's necessary. All right, next thing we do, we put a tourniquet on because we're going to be cutting through his skin and muscle tissue. Tourniquet is here. All right, what's a tourniquet used for, young people?
To cut off the blood circulation.
Exactly right. Exactly. You cut off the blood circulation, and that is, you have to do that, because otherwise the soldier will bleed to death. So you have to do that. So this would detaches from the bottom. It buckles down here. Well, anyway, you fit this around his arm or leg, and this fits over where the amputation is going to take place. My shirt's in the way. Let me take his shirt off, please. But above the blade, then you tighten it down like so, and keep this in place the whole time the amputation is going to take place, because this has to keep that blood flow stopped. So keep the tourniquet on, and assist it and keep it on for there. All right, next thing would be to take this amputation knife. This is an original knife. This dates back to the time of the Revolutionary War. It is blacksmith made, like the blacksmith up here. I would have bought this as well as my rest of my tools, but it was very finely made. Some people say, why the curve in it like that? Well, the curved portion is a sharp portion. So why is it curved? You all heard this before.
You can turn it.
Exactly. Yeah. Is your arm or leg curved? Yeah, it is. All right, so one cut to the bone, like this. One cut of the bottom side of the bone to match the top cut this way. So you cut all the way to the bone. So you're done with this. All right, now, next thing you do is insert this, which is called a leather retractor. Now, you've got your cut to the bone, and we're preparing now for the saw. But there's too much tissue in the way for that saw and the saw teeth. It's going to be too messy. So we insert this into that narrow cut with a knife, and if my finger represents the bone, all right, this slides down to the bone like so, and it retracts back the tissue. So you pull back the leather like this, and it pulls back the tissue back this way, leaving a nice section of bone. Now we're ready. One jagged end and one end attached to the body. So now we can use our amputation saw to get a nice clean cut. Now this is an original amputation saw. This dates back to the 18th century. It has hammer marks still in the back of it here. That, of course, the blacksmith up here could have made something like this. Very finely made. We know this is from the time of the Revolutionary War because of its style. Most amputation saws look just like this one. And they like that little tail right here on it. Just the style of it, the wooden handle, everything indicates this is a 1700s amputation saw. So you take this and just a few strokes of the saw on the bone, and that bone will detach from, the arm will detach from the body. So again, an assistant will be with me. He will take that arm, take it back around over here, back behind, somewhere back there. Out of the vicinity is a grave to be. There's going to be a lot of arms and legs piled up there from other amputations. So later on we'll dig a pit and bury those amputated arms and legs. So where does that leave us? It leaves us with a tourniquet here still on. It leaves us with the bone cut. What about that bone? Well, a couple of things. Men or women, what happens when you saw wood and you get saw firewood or any kind of wood?
You got splinters on
What do you get coming down on the ground?
Sawdust.
Sawdust. You think it might get bone dust also from sawing through? You sure do. So I would be such a fine surgeon as to have my own little bone brush right here to brush that bone and get that dust out of the way, because it doesn't. We want to be as neat and clean as we can with this. Yet we have to move quickly, so I'll flick away the bone dust. All right. Then we have veins and arteries that are exposed because of the cut through the flesh. So you'll take this instrument here called a tenaculum. It's a sharp hook-shaped instrument right there. That will hook it'll hook through each vein and artery. And in a normal arm, there should be about 12 veins and arteries that I can see. Those little tiny tubes that carry the blood to the body. So you hook each one. It's a little bit of a process. Hook each one, bring it out slightly, have an assistant to heat this in the fire till it's red hot, touch that to the end of each vein and artery, and it will sizzle and pop because the human body is moist. This is red hot, so as you touch them, it'll go like that. But you're sealing them so they can't bleed after you finish the amputation. All right, so we've done that. All right, now when I made the cut with a knife a while ago, I would have made a careful cut, and not just simple cut to the bone and cut to the bone, although I kind of described it that way. But I would have left a little flap of skin, a little round flap of skin attached. That I could, when the time came, put that over the stump and stitch it back together. That's what I do at this point. So got the veins and arteries sealed. We fold that little flap of skin over. Then I'll take my needle and thread. Here, my cricket needle we talked about a while ago. My silk thread, and you take that and just suture that flap to the stump. All right. A successful amputation could be done in 3 to 5 minutes. By the best surgeon. That's hard to believe, but it's been documented. They could really, with assistance and things were really cranking, they could get it done quickly. And they had to move quickly along, too, so they could do it pretty fast. Then you apply lots of this. And a while ago, what did we say this was?
Dirty cotton.
Fresh off the plant.
Right.
Still some particles in there, but hey, that's what we needed to soak up that blood. So we put lots of cotton around there. Then bandage, like the bleeding, take your bandage, same thing there. Then the last thing that would happen in this procedure would be to take this unusual item here. This is a wool amputee stocking. This would fit over everything. If my fist represents the stump, you have your cotton, you have the bandages on there. It can be kind of bulky. This is made rather large, and of course wool has a good stretchy feature to it too. This will stretch gently over all that, and then you take a piece of twine like so, and you fasten around the back like this and tie it. You have your amputee stocking. All right, now you watch the soldier. You have him taken back. You're done with him. Have him taken back to a tent that's set aside with fresh straw on it, clean straw, because we believe that's better for his health and recovery. And watch and change the bandages daily if you need to. Because what do I not want to see in days to come if I check out his bandages? What's the worst thing I could see?
Gangrene.
Well, that's even before I take them off. What about if I just look at the bandage? What do I see that's not good?
Bleeding.
Fresh blood. That means what?
It's not
Still
healing.
bleeding. It can be fatal. So therefore, guess what happens? You take all the bandages off. You take the cotton off. You take your little your surgical scissors here. You snip through that silk thread around that little flap. You take the flap and detach it, and back to the stump, and you try to find that vein or artery that's bleeding. You have to take care of it. Then you redo the whole thing over again. So, folks, you've been patient. I appreciate